Review with Ross and Chris Q. Boom.
Don't do that.
So this one's a review show, this era podcast. We've just recorded another one. If you're joining us for the first time, we have a news show called The Snooze Button, which is released on Tuesday mornings. This one's released on, Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, depending on, how many nappies I have to change, really, to be fair. How much baby poo I have to juggle.
You couldn't juggle your baby. He's a fucking giant.
He is a big baby. This is true. And,
I said to Julie earlier, you know why he's not walking yet? He can't pick himself up. He's too heavy.
He can carry his own weight. He's getting there. Anyway, this is not a podcast about my baby. This is it's a review show. Let's get on with it, shall we?
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Review with the Crew with,
it's barely a crew, is
half
it?
the crew. Recrew with me and you.
Review with a few.
With Ross Murphy.
Hello.
And me, Chris Quinton. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Whenever.
Whatever time of day it is for you. Yeah. So, reviews then, Ross. What you been watching, mate?
I went to cinema and watched A Quiet Place.
Ooh. Right, cool.
I'm not a great lover of horror as a genre. I think it's very often mediocre at best.
Right.
And there's only occasionally really, really good films come out.
Do you want to explain the premise?
What of why horror movies aren't great?
No.
No.
The premise for this movie.
Yeah, so it's quite a cold opening. It's straight in. You don't know what's happened. It's a bit like, good example of how it starts is a bit like 28 Days Later.
Okay.
And a bit like Day of the Dead, where they just in Day of the Dead, it starts by they just go into a city and you get all your information from newspapers blowing about and stuff.
The original Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get this with A Quiet Place.
Okay.
And it starts with them in a shop.
Right.
All prodding about in barefoot.
What's happened, though?
You don't know.
Oh, right, I see.
But you start to glean things from newspapers saying there's something out there that doesn't like you when you make a noise.
Right.
So they have to be deadly quiet. Which is one of the unique selling points of this movie.
What, the quietness?
Yeah, especially in the cinema.
Did it make your cinema shut the fuck up?
Yes.
It did?
It made people walk out of the cinema with half-eaten bags of popcorn.
Ah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really good.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Okay. So it's really good that people are respecting the fact that... Because, I'm always the same. Like, if you're in a quiet bit in the movie, I always wait for a loud bit before I open my bag of sweets that I've bought in because I don't want to pay 20 quid at the cinema. So if it's...
I'm like, they're gone before the movie starts.
Right, okay.
I'll just be like... Most people are. Like, most people go to the cinema. You have to sit in there for so long for the adverts and the trailer. You just like... I ate my sweets, they're all gone.
That's why I buy 4 bags of sweets. Or take a couple of bananas with me.
Fuck, that's weird. I can eat bananas as well.
Yeah, you did look at me quite strange when I took bananas to Ready Player One.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to the cinema with you. I really do not like bananas.
Oh, really?
And you just sat there peeling. And all I can smell is banana. I'm like,
why don't you like bananas?
Because they're fucking horrible.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You should have said I'd have taken an orange.
Anyway, A Quiet Place is so it's
a monster movie, right?
Yeah, but it's a dystopia, it's a apocalyptic tale of the end of the world where you're just like, shit's gone down, like zombies or something.
Right.
Or you're just stuck with this family who are only alive because their daughter's death.
Right.
So they can sign to each other.
Ah, so they already knew how to sign. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have to teach themselves to sign.
Right.
And it starts bang straight in. It's very good in that respect. It's difficult to talk about it without spoiling it.
Okay.
But there's shit out there that can hear you making a noise.
Right.
And they're pretty terrifying.
You get to see them, do you, at some point?
Yeah.
Right. Creature design any good?
Excellent.
Yeah?
Played The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, yeah.
Bit like that.
What, the chatterers or the...
The clickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use sound, don't they? Because they can't see.
Yeah.
So imagine the without spoiling it too much, combination of the alien from Alien 3
Yep.
and the clicker.
Right. Okay.
And then you've got the creatures from this movie.
Ooh.
And there's a big... Yeah, it starts very, very strong.
Do you think...
keeps going all the way through. It's only an hour and a half.
Okay.
And it is pretty relentless for an hour and a half.
That's pretty intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's excellent.
Cool.
And it's a story about family trying to survive, but all their kids are really young. And so they're trying to teach their kids how to survive in this world.
Right.
And that's where all your drama comes from. That's the story hook that isn't just survival. It's how does a husband and wife bring their kids up in this world where kids trying to be kids.
And there's some terrifying things to do with that in the trailer as well. Like, she gives birth.
She's pregnant.
Actually, you mentioned in our previous podcast, it's his wife playing his wife in the movie.
So the
They're married in real
director,
life.
John Krasinski,
And also the main actor.
is the lead actor.
That's the guy from the American Office, isn't it? As well?
He plays Jim Halpert, who's the Tim character from The Office in America.
Right.
And he ain't in much, is he?
No.
He directed it as well.
Yeah.
He helped write the screenplay as well, but there's like 2 guys wrote the story and 3 people wrote the screenplay. So he was involved in the screenplay as well. And
do you think they were heavily influenced by The Last of Us?
Whoever did the creature design definitely was influenced by The Last of Us.
Right.
I think the premise it's very much like the I think it's quite heavily influenced. I think that even the guys who wrote the story are probably quite heavily influenced by The Last of Us as well.
Okay.
But all of this sort of thing's a bit cyclical anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
There's very little dialogue in it. There is some dialogue, but there's very little dialogue.
So I take it there are subtitles.
Yes.
For the family when they're signing,
there are subtitles for the signing.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter because you will not look away from that screen for more than...
I don't have a problem with the subtitled movie at all.
Yeah.
So yes, just really so that you wouldn't necessarily have to use them. Like, for instance, Isle of Dogs has just been released and there's loads of Japanese in that. But it isn't subtitled on purpose. So that the characters that you're following don't know what the people are saying any more than you do.
Right.
So see what I mean? But you get it through what's going on or through gesture or context. But in this case, there's subtitles. Yeah.
Do we clearly say, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, who is the other lead, the wife, they're
married in real life. So it's probably quite a good on-screen presence for them as well.
They're excellent together.
Okay.
Yeah. And all the kids are excellent in it as well.
Okay.
There's 3 kids in
one of
this
them's
movie.
their real-life kid as well, isn't it?
Is it?
The deaf girl.
The deaf girl is their daughter.
I seem to remember reading that, yeah.
Is it? Because Anna told me that the deaf girl taught them all to sign.
You keep talking and I'll...
So I don't know if that statement's true, but Anna did say that the girl was the person who taught them all to sign.
Oh, no, what did you say? What did you say Anna had said about it? She came on and taught them all sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So it's not their real-life daughter.
No, okay.
So, yeah, but because she was deaf, the directors basically say that they headhunted her. They definitely wanted her. She brought a load of presents to the movie and they're really glad that they've had her on board, basically.
Yeah, they're all excellent. All the cast, all 7 cast members in the whole film.
There are, just the 7 of them. I suppose everybody else has been killed because, well... How easy is it going to be to live in a world where you can't make a sound?
I don't want to see. I really don't. What I don't want to do is talk about this film too much because, which is daft because I'm trying to review it as best as I can. But It really is so good that I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Fair enough.
They basically walk around barefoot and they put sand down everywhere they go.
Right.
So they've got something soft to walk on.
Okay.
Because the problem is, so the problem is with the deaf girl. Is she doesn't know if she's making any noise or not.
Ah, right.
So they've got to be doubly careful.
Okay.
With her.
Right. So does she make silly mistakes and stuff?
No, she doesn't. She's just no, No, she doesn't. She doesn't really make any mistakes. I can't think off the top of my head. No, she's one of the best things in it. Well, it's all of it's excellent. It is genuinely the best horror movie I've seen since probably The Descent or 28 Days Later.
Okay.
The Descent came quite a bit after.
So definitely people should go and see it at the cinema.
Yeah, and go and see it at the cinema because it's an experience to watch it at the cinema.
Okay. Oh man, I'm really tempted.
Go. It's worth it.
Well, after this podcast, do you think I'll just go?
No, that would be a bit weird.
It would.
But no.
See you later, Jilly.
Let me put it into context for you, Chris. It is worth cashing in one of your babysitting cards.
Right, okay.
To go and see it.
Oh, even with Avengers Infinity War just around the corner.
Well, yeah, because you can go and see that on your own.
Oh, true. Yeah, very true.
But this is a movie to go and watch it with Jilly.
She doesn't like a horror film.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not a horror film in that respect.
Right. We could get a matinee, couldn't we?
Yeah. Take Theo and make him be really, really quiet.
He's a quieter baby anyway.
Well, he'd have to be silent.
If we get 11 o'clock, he would just sleep. Be fine. He sleeps for 2 hours a day.
Oh yeah, you could probably get him in that. If he was asleep, he would stay asleep for that movie. Yeah.
The monsters don't make noise or anything then.
Yeah, they make. That's what's good about the sound design,
right?
And the score. It's just so.
But it's not the sort of like it's not ripping through the cinema noise. You know what I mean? It's not like roars and screams and stuff. Or
yeah, there are noises.
Okay,
but people have a tendency to be quiet in this movie quite a lot,
right?
Because if you don't, you'll die.
So it gives everybody in the cinema that kind of feeling that they're gonna get chased down by a monster if they make too much noise. If they rattle their popcorn, you know. Yeah,
you feel invested enough in the characters as well that you give them respect that they need to be quiet.
Fair enough. Cool. Right, okay. I'm going to try and make an effort to go and see this.
Yeah, and everybody else should. I'm sorry, but you'll understand once you've seen it why I haven't gone into more detail.
We'll have a little discussion about it at some point.
Yeah.
Perhaps about things that you can and can't have in a world where you have to be silent.
Like Bag of Crisps.
And I saw somebody on the internet talking about farts today, for instance. Whether or not you'd survive. Just in your sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no controlling that.
See, they sign to each other, but sometimes you do hear words come out of their mouths.
Right.
And like they do things like they're just very... They still cook, but they just cook very carefully.
Right.
Oh, my girlfriend would be dead in a minute. It's fucking mess.
Yeah, so would mine. She can't walk out of the house without slamming the door. You know what I mean? Anyway. Hi, Jilly. So, yeah. Should we do a tag team? Have you got something else to talk about as well?
Not really, no. I saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves again on the weekend. It's fucking brilliant, that film.
I love it.
It's really, really good.
There's always room for one more. Yeah.
Thingy's incredible in it.
Costner?
No. I'm having a brain fart. Snape.
Oh, yeah. Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman, yeah. He's fucking
It's a massive cast, isn't it, thinking about it? What's his name? The guy that plays the Arabian character?
Morgan Freeman. Sort of one of his early roles as well, wasn't it?
With an amazing sword.
Yeah, scimitar.
Yeah.
And
bookended
by two fairly large actors in like cameos of Brian Blessed and Sean Connery.
Brian Blessed? Who does Brian Blessed
It's the
play?
dad.
Well, his father?
Yeah, Robin Hood's father.
Is that right at the beginning of the film?
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
Anna had never seen this before. This is the deal. This is the if you want to watch The Bodyguard, then we have to double bag it with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
And then Sean Connery, did you say?
Yeah.
So he plays the king coming back at the end, yeah?
And they took every single bit from the Robin Hood myths apart from the archery competition.
Oh, yeah.
And they used it all. They used it all brilliantly. It had a massive budget for the time, I imagine. And it's just like Christian Slater's in it, isn't he?
Yeah. That's the character I was just trying to think of, yeah.
And yeah, it's just a absolute. It's a bit cheesy.
Does it stand up?
But it's hilarious. Yeah, because actually, it's very much in the mould of some of Indiana Jones and definitely Pirates of the Caribbean is the same amount of rip roaring action adventure and cheese.
And it was on Netflix, did you say?
And it's on Netflix.
So does it look like an old film, or does it scale
there's a
up
very
quite nicely?
bad. It's not. They haven't done a very good. It's not a very good copy of the movie.
Right.
Like you can see, film light. It hasn't been scanned and corrected.
Right.
But it's still good. It's new enough that the tiny bits of CGI that are in it aren't bad.
What's that, being flipped
Most of
over the wall with a
arrows
car?
No, most of the arrows being fired.
Right.
No, because that's the thing. It's old enough that almost all the effects are practical effects.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just brilliant.
I remember loving it when I was a kid.
Oh, it's so good.
Had figures
and the
stuff
soundtrack
and
is the score is on another level as well.
Right.
It's excellent. It's an absolute banger.
It's quite quotable as well, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly Alan Rickman's things.
Yeah. Cut his eye out with a spoon. Why a spoon?
But my siblings watched it so much when they were younger. They still quote it now.
Right.
Like they'll literally open the door to you and then just slam it in your face and go, "No more beggars."
Love it. Cool. I might actually go and venture out and watch that.
And it's funny as well. It's hilarious all the way through as well.
Right.
And for the right reasons.
I suppose I remember my parents enjoying it. We definitely went as a family to the cinema to see it.
Yeah.
You know, and we all came out like buzzing, you know, like you did back in the day. Proper old family film. Something for everyone in there.
Yeah. Excellent movie.
There we go.
Cool.
Cool.
John Bunday, put that on your list.
Yeah. You probably saw it though. When did it come out? Is that 90s?
90 something. 90s.
Oh, yeah, it would have been. Actually, I remember pretty much exactly when it was. 92 or 93.
Oh, and the other thing you forget is it's got one of the highest grossing songs of all time ever.
Yeah. Everything I do it for you. But yeah, I'm going to say 93.
91.
Ah, okay. So I was still... Oh, of course, I was still at middle school. Yeah. Dolt. Right. Do you want to know what I've been up to?
Yeah. There won't be. I was just going to say no, and then I thought there won't be a podcast if I just say no.
No, this is true. Right. I've been listening to an audiobook, or not exactly an audiobook, the author reading live, which is great. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman.
Right. Why am I surprised?
Well, it is Neil Gaiman. I do like a bit of Neil Gaiman. He's very, very good. I do own a lot of his books.
You are a Neil Gaiman fanboy.
I am a bit of a fanboy. But, yeah, you wait until I actually get a bookshelf in this house and you'll see just how much of a fanboy I am.
You haven't got room for a bookshelf.
Well, I'm going to put it up on the wall in the dungeon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to put some shelves up here. Before I get kicked out and put in the actual dungeon.
Yeah.
At some point or another. Anyway, yeah, this is very good, The Graveyard Book. Like, having Neil Gaiman read it, because I attempted to read the book myself a little while ago, and I found it a little bit a bit dull, but hearing him read it really brings out the humour. And having an audience react to it as well kind of helps. You know, like canned laughter, I suppose, does in a comedy show.
Right.
It just added so many elements to it that I was absolutely hooked, and I tore through it really, really quickly. It's not very long. It's only about 8 chapters, and it works like...
That's not an indication of how long a book is.
Yeah, but they're not like...
Because chapters can be... There's no definition of what a chapter is there?
Okay, so the audio...
How many pages is it?
In total, the audio would have been around about 8 hours.
Right.
Maybe a bit less.
About average.
Is it?
Yeah, that's like Ready Player One's about 8 hours.
You sure?
Yeah. I just listen... If I looked on my Audible account now, most of the books would be clocking in at between sort of like 6 and 9 hours.
Right, okay. Fair enough. But it works as well, a bit like you can kind of tell that he's been writing TV shows and stuff and screenplays recently, because it introduces the characters and then introduces new ones for a single chapter as you go through the book, and just does a small adventure with that character and wraps it up by the end of the chapter, and then it all kind of comes together for the last chapter. It's all, yeah, it's very good. Very,
Cool.
very good. And I definitely recommend hunting it down. I had an idea about what to do with my website, actually, to try and sort of get people into my music website, which I've just finished building, which is chrisqthings.co.uk at the moment, if you fancy going and having a look. That's chrisqthings.co.uk. There's some of my music on there, and like some of the stuff that I've been putting on YouTube. Not really proper videos, but, you know, just single framed images supplied by a local photographer, which is quite nice. Thank you for that. Twilight White Photography, thank you, by the way. Go and have a look at their stuff as well. This is all linked on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I was thinking perhaps I could stick a page on the back end of my website with like my favourite freely available audiobooks that are just there on the internet for people to listen to. So you'd have a place to go and find them.
Yeah, you can put links out.
Yeah, because all these are just on YouTube, and they're not going to be going anywhere, I imagine, because they're
probably not properly put up there. A lot of them won't be. Like, I listened to The Martian on YouTube, and I don't think it should have been.
No, I don't
there.
think The Martian's supposed to be on. I think these are supposed to be on YouTube, though. I think, or anything that I think is legit, I can just add to my website. Something like that. We'll see. But yeah, I might try and do that in the next week or so. I'll just let you know on the podcast next time if I do get around to doing it. But definitely go and seek out this one if you're a Neil Gaiman fan. Go and seek out the Graveyard Book with him reading it live. You can find all the chapters on YouTube, which is cool. And you will have to search them out as individual chapters.
I've never been able
to
get into any of his stuff.
No?
I tried to read Sandman, got bored.
Eh.
Didn't really like American Gods.
Really?
Tried to read the book, got about 4 pages in. I was like, nah. And then I watched the TV show and didn't really enjoy it. But that doesn't matter because that show's dead in the water, mate.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, isn't it, Ross?
Yep.
At the end of the day, you can't all be expected to like the same stuff. So
No, you don't like Star Wars.
I do.
And if you're Adam Gatchell, you don't like anything.
Yeah, and everybody else hates Ghostbusters, for instance.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you know what? It must be difficult not to like things.
Tell you something I really did like, though, Ross.
Just like things because it's easier.
What, to enjoy things?
Yeah. You take much more pleasure out of life enjoying things.
Yeah, true.
I know this is a huge tangent, but you know real angry right-wing people.
We're doing a review on people.
Yeah, you know real angry right-wing people.
Right, yeah.
Like, how much energy do you have to put into being that way?
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. That Louis Theroux episode where they go and hang out with the Nazis, for instance.
How much energy are you putting into that hate?
Pumping that into your children. Like, man, if you guys out there have not seen Louis Theroux, do you remember what the
and go and watch that show I talked about in the past called Hate Thy Neighbour as well, where he goes and hangs out with racists all the time.
That's not Louis Theroux, no, it's a different comedian, isn't it?
Black comedian.
Okay, I've got to watch that. But yeah, the Louis Theroux's line of questioning is always a bit kind of like, oh, are you going to get your head kicked in, Louis?
Yeah, but it's the way he asks it that he punches through any pretension or like interviewee style questions and just asks people genuine questions that normal people would ask them, and they're just like, oh yeah. While we're on this huge tangent, I need to catch up. I need to watch some podcasts and probably watch her interview on Joe Rogan. But you know the girl who left for the Westboro Baptist Church?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know about her, but all I know is that she's left, but she's on Joe Rogan's podcast on
Westboro
YouTube.
Baptist Church are a group of people that protest soldiers'
right-wing
funerals,
fascist fundamentalist Christians, nutcases.
So they protest against. They go and protest soldiers' funerals because the US government allow homosexuality. Right?
Yeah,
that's nuts. I can't understand how.
Yeah, they basically
how you get from there to there.
If you do a job for the government and die in the line of fire for the government, you're going to hell.
Yeah, because the government allow things like homosexuality. It's just nuts.
Ricky Gervais's joke about it on Humanity, where he's like, this one guy's like, I can't wait to be laughing at you getting bummed by the devil in hell. And Ricky Gervais goes, well, that's weird that one, you hate homosexuality, but you can't wait to watch me getting bummed in hell. And then two, what have you done to end up in hell? And then you're like, oh, I'm really excited to watch the devil bum Ricky Gervais.
Brilliant.
Quality.
I need to watch the rest of that, actually. Right, moving on. Lost in Space. Netflix show.
Have you seen it?
I've seen
half
of it.
Right. Do you want to tell me whether I should watch it or not?
I think you should.
I like the look of the trailer.
It's a very interesting take on the original. Did you watch any of the
I don't really
80s
care.
TV show?
It was earlier than that, wasn't it?
Or it may have started in the 60s, actually.
60s
it was black
or
and
70s,
white.
wasn't it?
But I just remember watching it in the 80s. Interesting take, and a very kind of... Did you like Battlestar Galactica? The new one?
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right. Okay. This is stronger than
it was very good.
Okay.
But it was a bit... It went up and down.
Did you appreciate the twist on the original series?
Yes.
Then you'll probably appreciate this.
Yes.
It's got some nice twists on the original concept.
It looks a bit like Mass Effect as well, doesn't it?
It does. Dr. Smith has had a gender change. Her character is proving to be awesome. Well, it was, yeah. If you remember the characters from the...
I don't.
You don't, okay. So, yeah, Dr. Smith was a bloke. It's a woman now.
I'm just as likely to get muddled with the Jetsons.
Yeah, fair enough. Swiss Family Jetson. But yeah, it's full of tension, or at least it's designed to be full of tension, and it's up to you as the viewer to really kind of decide whether or not you're going to allow it to affect you. There's more peril in it than Lord of the Rings, put it that way.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? Lord of the Rings is just like constantly, except for when they're in Rivendell, just constantly they're in peril. And it's the same with this. Like every episode, it's like 3 different characters going through some shit. So, but it's very good, and there's lots of science and sciencey bits in it, and stuff, bits that have made us get our phones out and Google stuff and go, oh yeah, is that? Oh yes, it is, and like not we're questioning whether or not they're right, but more, helping fill in gaps in our knowledge.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very good. So far, it's very good. Now, I've only seen half of it.
Adam's seen it all as well, hasn't
he has, so we'll do a
probably
full, or at least another semi-review of it at some point.
All right.
Special effects are pretty good. The only thing I've noted in it is the robot. If you've seen the robot in trailers and advertising and stuff, blatantly, sometimes he's a man in a kind of a bit of a wobbly suit, and other times he's a giant CGI robot.
Cool.
So it's a bit weird. But other than that, I don't think I've got a single bad thing to say about it.
Excellent.
And then the last thing to talk about ever so quickly is the OA, which is another Netflix TV show. And it's written and directed by the girl who also stars in it as the OA. And it's such a weird TV program. It's another one of these things, Ross, where I can't work out whether it was really awesome or just a big pile of crap that I wasted a load of my time on.
Fortitude.
Like Fortitude. It's either...
I think I know the answer to that, but while I was watching Fortitude, I thought it was maybe brilliant.
Yeah.
And then after, I was like, this is like Lost, but better. And then by the end, I was like, I'm going to stop watching this because it's shit.
Yeah, well, there's a season 2 of the OA coming, if anyone's interested. But it's like watching somebody else's dream. You know, when you wake up in the morning sometimes and you think, oh, that dream was so weird, that'd make a really good book.
And then 3 seconds later, you've forgotten it.
Well, except for the fact that this person didn't forget it. They wrote it down, and then somebody stretched it out into 8 episodes for Netflix.
Right.
So some of it's just plain weird. To explain the story, there's a girl, she was blind. Turns out that she was actually originally Russian. She's been adopted by a family. At some point or another, she's had a near-death experience and disappeared for 7 years. And when she's come back, she's got her sight. And then it starts to get... Well, she starts to meet people in the local community or reintroduce herself slowly. But she's not the same person that she used to be. But she wants 5 people so that she can achieve something. And she starts explaining her backstory to those 5 people so that she can convince them to help her do this thing. So, but the thing is weird. I don't know if I should tell you what it is because it's probably a bit too spoilery. It's all to do with dimensional travel and near-death experiences.
Yeah, you said too much, I think.
And yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Have you seen all of that?
I've seen it all.
Right.
Yeah, apparently a load of things will be answered in season 2. I don't know if I'll watch it, but I'd be really interested to see what other people say about about season 1.
Okay.
Crazy.
Might watch it. I've just got too much on my plate.
I think you're probably going to find a lot of other things that you want to watch before this.
Yeah.
Watch Lost in Space first.
Yeah, and then Handmaid's Tale starts and Westworld starts, doesn't it?
That's it. We're screwed for the summer, aren't we?
Yep. And then actual summer arrives and we go outside.
Yeah. Unless Game of Thrones is on. Unless Game of Thrones is on, which is next summer, actually. So that's all right. We'll enjoy this summer then.
Yes, we will.
Right, that's about it, isn't it?
Yep.
Is that enough reviewing from us? That'll do.
That was a big enough review.
Cool. Right, okay, folks, thank you very much for listening. If you want to go and check out any of the stuff that we do outside of our podcast, so, Ross's famous wooden PlayStation handle, which was crafted and gilded by Libsyn and Stitcher.
Yeah.
And, of course, my website, which is all about music and stuff, and then Adam's artwork, Paul's shops and things. Go and have a look. We'd greatly appreciate a click or two.
Just real quickly, it's completely off topic.
Go on.
We used to do at the end of our old podcast.
Yeah.
I saw a video today of a clip from the Antiques Roadshow where a army regiment took down one of their possessions that was gifted to them by like a duke or an earl's wife or something like that.
Right.
And it was a flower in a flower pot.
Okay.
Made by Fabergé.
Right.
And it's incredible. Like so it's a flower in a vase, yeah, and the vase is see-through, and it looks like it's got water in it, but it's not even made of glass. It's made of a clear stone.
Right.
So, like the guy picked up, and he's like, even on a day like today, it's cold.
Right.
And then the flower stalk and stem is made from like gold, and then the leaves are made from like jade from Russia, and then the flowers are made out of silver.
Oh God, did he drop it?
No. It's and he was like, and they were like, well, obviously they're not going to sell it because it belongs to an army regiment, yeah?
Right.
It basically actually belongs to the state, doesn't it, if you take it to that level?
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I think, this is probably one of the best examples of this ever I've ever seen. He's like, I can probably only think of 2 or 3 flowers in the country that are made by Fabergé that are anywhere near this quality.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm dating it from about the turn of the century, 1900. So this is when they were also doing their best work as well.
Right.
And he was like, I just probably call it £1 million.
Right. How big?
Like
30 centimetres?
Yeah, like a foot.
Right.
Yeah. And mate was like,
and he didn't drop it?
No. And they were like, yeah, this comes out at dinner parties and stuff, and sometimes ends up underneath somebody's bunk.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, I think we'll probably put it in a cabinet.
Yeah, I think you probably should. There you go. If you've got a turn of the century Fabergé flower laying around, you might be sat on £1 million. Well, don't sit on it. Put it in a cabinet.
Nuts.
Absolutely nuts.
That's collectibles for you.
That is collectibles for you. Do you think my Lego will be worth £1 million?
No.
Anyway, right. Should we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, goodbye.
Let's go and have some dinner. Thanks very much for listening, folks. We'll catch you next time. Cheery bye.
Goodbye.
Toodle pip.